You're listening to the Scars and Guitars podcast series that syndicates for the A-List Online. My name's Andrew Mackay-Smith, and the interview subject that I've got coming up for you, the fella that you're about to hear from, is Jahred Gomes. Now, Jahred's in the US outfit Head PE. They're touring across Australia at the end of June 2019 with Nonpoint, and I'll read out the 5 dates. Perth, you've got a show on Wednesday the 26th. Adelaide, Thursday the 27th. Melbourne, Friday the 28th. Sydney, you get your show on the Saturday. And Brisbane, Sunday the 30th. I will hopefully be at that one there, time permitting. This is a lot of fun, this conversation, though. I really enjoyed talking to Jahred. He's got a great sense of humour, it must be said. So let's have a listen to what he has to say. Here we go. Jahred, it's Andy Mackay-Smith calling for our chat. How are you?
Hey, Andy. Great to hear from you, buddy.
Mate, it's fantastic to talk to you, and I've got a slight hangover, I must confess, so because it's morning here, right? So I didn't go raging.
No, it is. Thanks for getting up.
No, that's
for
fine.
Waking up.
No, that's all good.
I got to tell you, Andy, I'm feeling blessed. I'm feeling grateful that people in Australia even want to talk to me, and they're willing to get up early and with a hangover.
Well, mate, how could we refuse and how could we resist? I mean, you're in an excellent band. You're a great lyricist, and you're coming to Australia for these shows. So we couldn't not want to wake up, right?
Thanks, buddy.
You know,
Thanks.
But mate, I had a chat to Elias from Nonpoint during the week, actually. So I already know that anticipation is building significantly for the shows, and he's looking forward to them, of course, as well. You know, but and the other thing is you're hitting all of the major cities together, including Perth, which is wonderful for our fans of yours over in Perth. And you've got 11 albums to choose material from. Okay, that's a lot. It's a vast catalogue, really, when all things are considered, that most bands can't even get 1 or 2 out. But you've got 11 of them there.
But, bro, there's only one good song on each record. Just kidding. Go ahead, though.
Well, it's a bit like that with some people, isn't it? But the reality is you've got almost 100 songs plus to choose from, and most of them are bangers, truly. Like, they're all stuff that have got great rhythmic flow. I've always loved your lyrical dynamism. Okay, so I love the way you structure your lyrics to fit in and around the beat. Okay, and I know a lot of I love the way, and a lot of hip hop artists are doing that these days. Drake and all the rest of it. But you've been doing it a long time before them, and I often wonder, mate. You know, some of these towering figures in urban music and hip hop, mate. I do wonder if they've been listening to you, because I'm hearing a lot of your stuff.
Well, you know what's dude. Well, that's an amazing compliment, because check it out. I've been doing it for so long, but I love to listen to the kids and get get ideas from the rhythms that they're using and evolving to, and go that route. But please continue.
Yeah, well, I'm hearing it, man. I mean, it's there. I mean, you listen to Drake's music, and a lot of these, particularly in Australia here, of course, we're very influenced by the music that comes out in the United States. A lot of these young girls and guys that are coming through, I hear your stuff in it, man. I can hear it, and that's because I've been listening to you guys for a long time myself. I remember I can't tell you how many vocalists, mate, because I'm a musician. Vocalists that I've worked with in bands back when the new metal revolution was happening, about year 2000, 2003, that loved the album Broke and Blackout as well. That was, and
right.
That's actually how I got into you guys. It was basically because, you know, you're driving somewhere and somebody else puts your music on in the car and you think, yeah, I can groove to this. It might not have typically been something back then, because I liked a lot of really heavy music like Morbid Angel and the like. But then you guys come on, man. It was actually a welcome reprieve, if you know what I'm saying. And I think that's
right.
And I think that's
cool.
I think that's the role that your music has played in a lot of heavy metal fans' lives. Does that make sense?
No, you know what? I don't know what was going on, but heavy metal people felt like, okay, let's go back. Let's have a cultural historic moment real quick, where in the 70s you were either into rock or disco, and it was like a division along racial lines, right? Mm-hmm. You were either into rock or disco, period. But then as it evolved, then the line began to blur, and then heavy metal people began to feel a little bit more relaxed about liking music from the other side of the aisle, so to speak, right? And so then it seems like when we came out, heavy metal people were really, like you say, ready for that reprieve. It's just like, dude, because I was around like when the big thing was Motley Crue and Poison and Cinderella and all that, and people were ready for Nirvana. You know what I mean?
Definitely.
So whatever. And then after a few years of grunge, people were ready for the next thing. Or it's always like that in cycles. But luckily for me, I caught that part of the cycle, right?
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
And where people like you were ready to hear people like me do my thing.
Yeah, and we were, and there's a lot of us out there, and the interesting thing is we haven't stopped listening to you. Fans haven't stopped listening to you. It's not one of those scenarios where the band's fallen out of favour. You've consistently released music since 1997. You've always been there for people. And, the other thing too, mate, I've got to give you this compliment. You've headed off the digital revolution beautifully, meaning that you have remained relevant and intact as an artist through that transition, and a lot haven't, as I sort of alluded to earlier. So
Whoa.
How did you manage that? I mean, you must have seen it coming.
That's a pretty good that's a pretty good question, and a pretty good observation. And that you can only have that observation because you were there for the transition, where if someone who's so young, to them, all they know is that, right? But I'll tell you what, a lot of it is just not fighting the changes ever. Always just going, okay, it's always about music and putting out music, isn't it? And then the way the music comes out and reaches the people is the thing that has changed. The way we record our music has changed, right? And the way people get music has become obviously easier to get people to music. But surviving it is more, I think, just because of what I've done is constantly made music and constantly put in the work to create music and lyrics. Without that, then if you're not playing, then in the game you can't win. No. But and there's an intangible thing though where people are relating to the creations 25 years later. A new generation of people are relating to it. So that's the thing. That am I that in control of that? I don't know. I don't think so. Right.
Yep.
I'm only control. That's like the thing. I can only control the controllables, which is making the best music and putting it out. That's what I can do.
Yeah, I get it. And the other thing, to an observer like myself, it looks like you've had to do it more or less by yourself, meaning that you've had a cast of musicians that have come in and out of the band, but only you've remained the constant member. And really, you've had to deal with a lot of lineup changes and all the rest of it since really 2003 or 4, I think it is. How have you kept the flame burning though through all of that? Because I understand it's frustrating, isn't it?
Well, you know what? I think as I'm talking to you, it just occurs to me that, and then just as you say, because the flame is burning in me, okay, permanently, and it's not like a case where it's me and another guy, and once this other dude doesn't want to do the music, I'm like, oh no, what am I gonna do? No, I'm gonna figure out a way to write songs and get a new musician. Okay, so in my world, there's the songwriting and then there's the musician. You know what I mean? At least that's how it's evolved. Out of necessity, when I started seeing members drop out because of drug use or just out of choice because they weren't feeling the vibe anymore, I learned that, whoa, you're either going to, there's a very famous Freemason by the name of Manly P. Hall, and he wrote that there are two types of men. The first type of man, when he's confronted with problems, he becomes overwhelmed. And the second type of man, when he's confronted with a problem, he finds a solution. So every time I was confronted with a problem, I always found a solution. When a drummer quit on a Tuesday and I had a tour that started on a Friday, I found a new drummer. I found a new fucking drummer. And when a rhythm guitar player quit on a Thursday and I had a show on a Friday, the band became a 4-piece instead of a 5. Do you know what I'm trying to say? Yeah. So it's like, you know, if someone's going to stop writing the music, guess what? I'm going to pick up the guitar and I'm going to write some shit myself. You know.
Yeah, I get it, but a lot of people they lose faith, don't they? They go through all of this stuff and they begin to think that God, why me? What am I going through all of this stuff? But I can tell you're a very positive person talking to you. You can hear it coming through in your voice. So it's a wonderful thing, mate. That you've nurtured that and you've got the talent and you're bringing the music to the people after all of these years, and that especially so on this new track. I really enjoy this new track here. Can I Rock? And I love the fact that you've got so many heavy metal references through it as well. That's sick.
Yeah, that is so great. I'm so glad to hear you say that because, dude, you know, because rock music is like out of style or whatever. It always have its market. It's not the top streaming thing. You know, you're not going to hear it, but whatever. You get what I'm saying. But so like, it really is just me tongue-in-cheek, facetious, sarcastic, saying, am I allowed to rock anymore? What's up? You know, and so using those 70s, 80s, 90s references to rock icons is perfect. In my mind, like, because I have a son now who's almost 12, Beautiful. You know, like he would have to Google up those fools that I'm talking about.
Ronnie Dio.
You know?
Yeah, I love the Holy Diver.
9 Inch Nails he probably heard of.
Yeah, I love the way that you've paid homage to Ronnie Dio there, because that's the way I take it. And you talk about Holy Diver as well, so you've not just got the man, you've got one of his most famous albums and cuts in there as well. So it's a bit of a history lesson.
Baby.
It's a real history lesson for the kids, man. You're doing it.
It really is. They need to Google that shit and just be amazed at the knowledge of early heavy metal. Because, you know, come on, I'm a kid from the 70s, you know?
Yep. Likewise, yeah. Likewise, man. And what's the response been like? So have fans been giving you feedback over social media about the track?
They say it's fire. I haven't heard one negative thing. Now, listen, my old DJ Product, who plays with Cottonmouth Kings right now, we're still really good friends. I hope to be playing him again with him soon. He doesn't like anything, you know, and he even likes it. So I had to mention that because, dude, but everyone just keeps hitting me up saying that song is fire, you know?
Yeah, great.
So that's great.
Mate, it bodes well for the future. You know, that, as I say, I mentioned it before, you know, 11 albums in, there's probably well over 100 songs in the catalogue, man, and this is probably one of your strongest songs you've ever done. And you know, so to be in that position, and as I said, it's really all you.
Thank you so much for saying that, bro. I appreciate that, man.
Hey, I love to ask occasional guests on my podcast series this one here, okay? So I only ask the really special people this one here. But can you share a crazy touring story? Because I know you got it in you. Can you? And I host a Not Safe for Work program.
Whoa, you know what's funny is I thought recently I was like, whoa, this is a crazy touring story. I'm going to tell this because I get asked that question, you know, tell me the crazy story on tour, you know, and you don't want to, again, you know, I've got the wife and son and they're in the room with me right now. And so I'm not going to tell the old school groupie stories, even though I really don't remember those because for some reason the memories are really foggy. No, but I swear I had a really G-rated story that was ridiculous. And you know what's funny though, dude? When people ask you about the story, normally you're just like right now, I am fucking stumped.
That's all right. No dramas. Yeah,
but listen, let me tell you a story like this. We're on our way to St. Louis, Missouri for a show. I had bought a tour bus, right? Turns out this tour bus was a piece of shit. We're on this bus, right? It's the middle of fucking winter. We're trying to get there. It's like 10 degrees plus. The bus has terrible insulation, so we're catching a wind draft, right? The generator's out, the heat's not working, everybody's bundled up. We're trying to make it to the show on time. We're probably like in this town draw, 5 to 800. And Head PE doesn't miss shows, right? Mm-hmm. So it's a good story. I get there, dude. We get on stage and we're practically frostbite, and I'm in the middle of a hardcore scream that's like, yeah, and pass out, dude. Pass out, fall into the drum set, because I'm used to head rushing. I have head rushes in the studio all the time, but this one was made worse because of the frostbite. Anyway, I passed out, but that's not the greatest story, but it just shows you that we're in survival mode. But you know what? That was so many years ago. As I'm talking to you, I'm doing so much better now. I have such a much better tour bus. That was the tour bus you could buy with shitty credit on just cash.
Oh, right, yeah.
Now I have good credit. Now I have good credit and good cash. So what, dude? What?
Yeah, gotcha. Yeah, look, it's...
why? Because I got that positive mental attitude.
You do. Your PMA. Right there. I hear John Joseph and the Cro-Mags guys talking about that all the time, man.
There you go.
It's all about that, mate.
Listen to this. Listen to this, my friend. My 12-year-old, they don't watch TV anymore. They just watch YouTube.
Mm-hmm. Agreed.
His favorite guy talks about PMA as well. And he, it's funny, like the whole new generation's hearing PMA from YouTuber gamers,
Yeah.
And it's just a great thing. And what was the band? Bad Brains, always talked about PMA, and they got it from a book I always mention, which is Think and Grow Rich, right, by Napoleon Hill.
Yeah, it's a great book,
which is a book I always revisit. And you know what? Buddha talked about it. You know what? Your attitude is everything, right?
Mm. Yeah, that doesn't surprise me at all that you're mentioning Napoleon Hill, Think and Grow Rich. These sort of wonderful texts that have given humanity so much, that you've tapped into that you've found that, because it's part of the reason, or it's inspired your positive outlook, if you like. And that's, anybody listening to this, man, that needs a book, man, to sort of lift them out of a dark place, man, that's the best place to start. That one right there.
Dude,
that's so much knowledge.
Yes. Thank you. And what's great is, in this day and age, you don't even have to fucking read. You get an audio book. You don't even have to go through the trouble of, because I'm a big audiobook guy these days, although I have boxes and boxes of books, but I get up early and do cardio and do the gym thing, and I listen to audiobooks. The Science of Getting Rich is one I'd recommend to whoever's listening. That changed my life, dude. It's along the lines of Napoleon Hill. It was written along the same time that Napoleon wrote his book, Think and Grow Rich, also by a Brit, around 100 years ago. It's just all that positivity and how to run your life and be a boss. But I'll tell you what, in your spare time, why not just listen to some good philosophies like that? The more I listen to it, the better my life seems to get,
No, agreed, mate. Agreed, yeah. Mate, these conversations are always over far too quickly. You know that, and I better let you get to the next one, mate, because no doubt someone's keen to.
Dude, yeah, I got another one. You're right. That went quick.
It does go. I've got kids too, man. I've got young daughters, so I'm going to try, meaning that I really struggle to get out at night these days. Last night was the first time in ages that I've been out, but
I hear you, brother.
I'm definitely going to try and get to your show. I really look forward to trying to get to your show, put it that way.
I feel you, brother. You know what? You do your thing with your family, but thanks for taking the time.
No worries at all, mate. It's been a pleasure and an honor to chat to you. Thank you so much.
Okay, have a good day. Peace.
No worries. Catch you. You've been listening to the Scars and Guitars podcast series that syndicates for the A-List Online. My name's Andrew Mackay-Smith, and the fella you just heard from was Jahred Gomes from the US outfit Head PE. Thanks so much for listening.